And now, marine weather around Alaska.
Welcome to the marine section of Alaska Weather. I'm Eric Holloway with the National Weather Service for September 15, 2023. A couple other options out there. A 1-800 number gets you into phone menu system out on the World Wide Web at weather.gov/Alaska. And lastly, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please email us. For the ice edge today, ice edge is way far north in the Arctic Ocean. Nothing to report really in the Beaufort and Chukchi Sea today. Then taking a look at tonight's weather, looking at a couple low pressure systems moving through the Gulf of Alaska. This pattern will be hanging with us for the next couple days as these systems pull through, and we'll see some more systems pulling through in the next couple days, but otherwise very strong winds through the Gulf of Alaska and into the Panhandle, driving some marine conditions that we'll be looking at here shortly. And another system out there near the southern end Alaska Peninsula, 979 millibar low there, driving again another round of weather and strong seas associated with that system. For Saturday's weather, there's the system that will be forming for Saturday, 974 millibar lows, very strong winds associated with that system. Counterclockwise flow, bringing rain, precipitation, strong winds, again associated with that system on Saturday. A little bit improved conditions out there in the Bering Sea with the ridge of high pressure, 10-20 millibar ridge poking in through the Bering Sea and up through the Aleutians. And then for Sunday's weather, that low in the Gulf moves further northeast towards the Panhandle, 987 millibar low there with a couple of troughs poking out from that. Again, some precipitation associated with that system, but decreasing winds for the most part for the Marines down there in the Gulf of Alaska. As we see another system come in to view there on the southern end of the Alaska Peninsula, and out there in the Bering Sea, another low out there, 983 millibar low with a relatively weak system. For Saturday's marine forecast for the Panhandle, inside waters winds generally from a easterly direction up to 35 with gusts of 45. So look for small craft advisory out. That's going to be going out through Saturday morning for the inside waters. And then for the outside waters, looking at winds generally from the southeast up to 40 with seas as high as 15. So look for small craft or gale there on Saturday. And then for Sunday's forecast, look at very strong there with seas as high as 26 feet, but winds otherwise from a easterly direction, south or easterly direction there. For the most part, for the inside waters, looking at winds generally from the southeast up to 35 for small craft advisory possible on Sunday. But again, looking for very high seas there on Sunday for the outside waters. Then for the south central area, in the Prince William Sound area, winds generally from a northeasterly direction up to 30 with seas as high as 6 feet. In the Gulf region, winds generally from a easterly direction up to 50 with seas as high as 18 feet. So look for gales or even storm force winds there on Saturday. And then for the Cook Inlet region, winds generally from a northeasterly direction, 25 to 30. So look for small craft advisory there on Saturday. For Sunday, Prince William Sound, winds generally from a northerly direction up to 20 with seas as high as 4 feet. Gulf region, winds generally from a northerly direction up to 25 with seas as high as 15, but also up to 45 there near the southern end of the Kenai Peninsula. So look for small craft or even gale force winds there on Sunday. And then for the Cook Inlet region, winds generally from the west at 10 to 45 there on the southern end of Cook Inlet, seas as high as 15 feet, so look for a gale there on Sunday. Saturday's marine forecast for Alaska Peninsula, Kodiak Island, winds around Kodiak Island, generally variable in direction up to 35 with gusts of 50, seas as high as 9 feet, so look for small craft or gale there on Saturday. Southside Alaska Peninsula, winds generally from a northerly direction, up to 35 with gusts of 50, with seas as high as 8 feet. So look for small craft or gale there on Saturday. For the north side Alaska Peninsula, winds generally from a northwesterly direction up to 30 with seas as high as 8 feet. So again, small craft advisories likely there on Saturday. And then for Sunday, winds around Kodiak Island, especially on the east side of the Kodiak Island, winds generally from a westerly direction up to 35 with seas as high as 12 feet. So look for small craft or gale there on Sunday. And then for the south side of Alaska Peninsula, winds generally from a variable direction up to 30. And then on the north side of the Alaska Peninsula, winds generally from a variable direction up to 25 with seas as high as 8 feet. So again, small craft advisory there likely. Saturday's marine forecast for Aleutian Chain, winds generally from a westerly direction up to 35, but otherwise seas as high as 12 feet there just south of Nikolsky. And out there in Shemya, winds generally from a southwesterly direction up to 30 with seas as high as 9 feet. Then for Sunday's marine forecast for Aleutian Chain, look at the winds increase there from a westerly direction out there between Shemya and Kiska up to 30 with seas as high as 13 feet. So look for small craft or gale there on Sunday. And then for the rest of the Alaska Peninsula, looking at winds generally from a southwesterly direction up to 25 with seas as high as 8 feet. Then for southwest, winds generally from a northwesterly direction up to 20 with seas as high as 5 feet. And then for Sunday, winds generally from the west with seas as high as winds generally from a westerly direction up to 20 with seas as high as 8 feet there near the Pribilofs. And for the Arctic coast region, winds in the Beaufort Sea, looking for winds from the easterly direction 10 to 15, down through the Chukchi Sea, winds from the east at 10 to 20, down through the Bering Strait anywhere between 15 and 20 with seas as high as 4 feet. Then for Sunday's marine forecast for Arctic coast, winds generally from the east along the Beaufort Sea up to 25, seas as high as 5 feet, down through the Chukchi Sea, winds generally from a variable direction 10 to 20, and down through the Bering Strait, winds generally from a variable direction 10 to 15 with seas as high as 6 feet.